Hi, I'm Dr. Kaylin Lake from the Citadel's Applied Physics program, and today we're going to look at the light alarm box project that is in this box. So what exactly is that? That can be seen right here. So this circuit has a light sensor on it, which is going to tell us how much light is in the room or how much light is getting to the sensor. It has a sound device right here that's going to make a noise. So if I plug this in, it's going to start squealing until I put my finger over that sensor. And when I put my finger over that sensor, it's going to prevent it from making a noise. I can lift my finger up and it again will make a noise until I cover it. So let's get started building it and seeing what is in the box. So let's first go through the box to make sure you have all the parts. So inside the box there is a card. This is an instruction and informational card. It's got the circuit diagram that you can be using to build it, as well as some information and troubleshooting guide. Additionally, you should have a 9-volt battery, which can be used to power your device. You should also have a bag of parts. Let's go through those each one at a time. So the first part is this holy device. This is a breadboard, and it is used to hook up all of our electronics. It's got metal inside, and that allows it to connect a circuit like you would if you had a wire. You should have a 9-volt battery clip like this, which will allow us to hook up that power. You should additionally have 2 resistors. So these are resistors. The first resistor should have the color code brown, black, red, gold. And the second one should have the color code brown, black, brown, gold. Now those are different. They have a different resistance, which is how difficult it is for the current to flow this through the circuit. And you can think of that just like current, like you would have with water. Additionally, you should have this little thing right here. This is a transistor. You should also have this. So this is an audio indicator. It's a magnetic style audio indicator, and it has a piece of tape on it. You can remove that tape whenever you want. Other than damping the sound a little bit, it's not going to really have a disadvantage leaving it on, but it can be removed if you'd like to. You should additionally have a photoresistor or a light sensor, and this allows us to measure the amount of light. You should, last but not least, have 3 little blue jumper wires. All right, let us get started building this. So let's start by building this circuit. So here's our breadboard, and I'm going to orient it up down so that it matches the picture that's up there. And then I like to start with these. Now this board is very stiff and it can be very difficult to get things in. So let's start by making sure we make the holes that are going to be the battery clip lines nice and big so that we don't have trouble getting those little teeny skinny wires in. So I like to start by taking this little metal bit and pushing it into the hole where the wire is going to go a couple times to kind of make the hole a little bit bigger. So the first place it's going to go in is going to be right here. It's going to be the furthest left hole, one up. And then additionally, you're going to want to do that on the 3rd hole down from the top. And again, just pick it up, push it out, pick it up, push it out. Now, in general, all your wires should go in about that much. So notice how long this is, and if you're trying to push it in and you're pushing it in farther than that, it's probably going to damage or make the circuit not work. So you don't want to get too enthusiastic. All right, let's plug this in. So this is going to go 3 from the top, and then it's going to go into the holes right here. So you want it to be 3 down, furthest to the right in this section, and one over from the right in that section. Grab your second blue one, and you're going to skip one set of holes and go exactly parallel to the previous one, like that. Okay? Now you're going to grab the last little blue wire, and that wire is going to, again, skip a row, and then it's going to be placed in the farthest to the left of that side. So it should look like that. Once you have all those blue ones in, you can start adding in the other parts. So let's start by plugging in this audio indicator. So this has a long lead and a short lead. It additionally has a little plus sign on the paper, or if you go underneath the paper, there's a hard to see little black one that's there. That long lead, or the plus symbol, is going to go upward. So it's going to go right like this. Now you're going to want to make sure it goes into the same hole that this blue thing is in, and then it should skip 2 and then go into 1 from the bottom. So that should go in just like that. Okay, now you're going to need that brown, black, brown resistor. So that should be brown, black, brown. Make sure it's not the other one. And that is going to go in on the second to last row, so right there, across to the other side in the second hole from the side. So it should be in right here. And you can bend it out of the way so it doesn't make it hard to see what's going on. We can grab this other resistor. So this is going to be your brown, black, red, gold resistor. And these don't matter which way you put them, so don't stress if it's that way versus that way. Just make sure that you've got the correct colors in the correct place. Okay, so then this guy is going to start in that same row that the other end was here, and then it's going to go up until it's in the blue row up here. Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit of a circuit. So this should connect through here to this guy, this should connect through here to this guy, around and up until there. So these aren't connected, so obviously something is gonna need to go there. And these two aren't connected, so we're gonna need something there. So let's start by adding the photoresistor. So that's this little guy. Again, doesn't matter which way it goes, and it doesn't matter really how long those leads are. And that is going to go across these two blue wires. So we're going to cut boom and boom. Okay, there is our photoresistor, or our light sensor. The last thing we want to connect here is this guy right here. So this has 3 leads, but notice these leads don't space the same way this board does. And we actually want to connect it between that, and the one right there. So notice we've got to have one slightly out, another one slightly out, and we want to make sure that when we plug this in, it's going to go this direction, so flat side out, and it's going to go hole, skip one, hole, skip one, hole, skip one. So it should look like that. So you should have 1 in each hole, and that should correspond to 1 in each of these blue lines. Once you got that all hooked up, you're ready to hook up your battery. Now, I find it easier to hook it up before, so that I'm not trying to, deal with this wiggly thing the whole time. So I'm going to plug it in to this, and then this does matter the direction. You're going to push the red one in right here, and you're going to put the black one in down at the bottom right there. Now keep in mind that if that was difficult to put in, remember you can grab one of your other parts and push it in and out of the hole a few times to make it bigger, but since you did that already, it should be okay. So now you're going to just plug in this black lead right here, and it should start making a noise. Now it's a little bit quieter because it's got this on it, but you can hear that it is making a noise. And if I cover, it stops, pick up, and stop. So this one's a little quieter because of that tape. If I wanted to make it louder, I could just take off the piece of tape. But hopefully you guys can hear that. All right, so let me unplug it so that we don't have it making a noise, and let's go through this circuit. So, use this pencil as a pointer. So we've got power coming out of this red line, and all of those little boxes on a single side are connected in a row. So this guy is connected to this guy, is connected to this guy, is connected to that guy, and is connected to that guy, and so forth. So the electricity can come out of here in the form of current, and that's just like a current in a river, so you can imagine it flowing through there. And that current is going to go through here, and it gets a choice. It can either go through this component, this light center, or it can go through this wire. And some of it is going to go in both directions. So let's look at the resistor side, photoresistor or light sensor side first. So it's going to go through this light sensor, and the amount that gets to the other side, and this effectively speed at which it's going, is going to be dependent on how much light is getting to this thing. So if it's dark versus if it's light, a different amount is going to get there. And then it comes to this point, and we're going to read with this middle line the amount of resistance or current flow that's happening between here versus how much is happening between there in that other resistor. So that means that if this senses the correct amount, it's going to turn this thing on. And this transistor is basically a switch. So it's going to say, hey, you're allowed to turn on. And what that turning on is going to let that current that wanted to flow this way through this component to the other side. If there's not enough light, right, if I have it blocked with my finger, then it says, nope, you're not allowed to go, and it stops it, and therefore this can't flow through here. But if my finger's up, it can flow through, and it's going to go through here and through there, and then into this thing where it's going to make noise and go back around until it gets back to that negative line that would be plugged in right there. So that's a little bit about how this works. So let's really quickly check some things with some technology to let us know what's going on. So we're going to measure the amount of electricity through this particular line, the one in the middle. And that's going to tell us basically, is this switching on or is it not switching on? And then we can also see how much is going through this. In other words, is there a lot or is there a little? Is this making sound or not? So let's go switch over to that setup over here. So here we have another one of those circuits. On the top we have what's going into that middle line of the transistor. And then down here we have what's going into the speaker. And when I plug this in and cover it with my finger so it doesn't make noise, you can see that there's basically nothing happening on either of these. But as I lift up my finger, you're going to start seeing numbers. And there's going to start seeing a change and change until a point where it gets loud. And notice now there's something on there. And again, I can cover it till it quiets back down. So that's what's going through this system as we use it. So hopefully that told you a little bit about the circuit, helped you build it, and was an enjoyable experience. So if you have any questions, or if you want information, or you're interested in attending the Sentinel or receiving one of these blocks, please use the links below. Thanks.